Welcome back to Planet Doug, and the planet is looking pretty good this morning. I'm well rested, feeling good, feeling energetic, and today, surprise, is a travel day. In fact, I'm at the very beginning of flying from Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia to Medan in Sumatra, Indonesia. And the idea at this point is to spend one night in Medan when I get there, and then take a train from Medan to the coastal town of Tanjung Balai, because I have my touring bicycle in storage there. And then the idea is to finally, at long last, go for a little bike ride in Sumatra. The plan is to ride up to Lake Toba, down the other side of the mountains of Sumatra, and then go to a city called Sibolga on the coast. And then from there, either turn south or north, depending on what I decide to do. So you can lay your bets now on whether or not I make it to at least Sibolga on my bicycle. Odds against it are the last time I tried to ride my bike in Sumatra, my knees gave out, so I had a difficult time. And of course, the traffic and the steepness of the roads and the heat, that all goes against a cycling trip in Sumatra. But that is my plan. And so the negative odds balanced against that is the fact that I do love to travel by touring bicycle, and everything is all set up. And oddly enough, a rare occurrence, I seem to be going somewhere just as the rainy season is ending and the dry season is beginning. So the weather should be more suitable. I'm not going to be rained on every day when I'm on the bike. So that's in favor of actually doing the bike ride to Sibolga. Oh, one other thing is last night, as I was getting ready for this trip, doing a lot of last minute details, I saw the news that a large volcano erupted in Indonesia and flights were being canceled and people were being stranded. So of course I thought that might affect me today, but it turns out that this volcano is on the island of Flores. A friend of mine told me that it's actually closer to Australia than it is to Medan. So I think flights out of Bali are being canceled because of the ash cloud, but I think I'll be okay here in KL to Medan. I don't think these flights are being affected, but that it's a possibility, I suppose. So I have to keep an eye on that. I checked online this morning. I don't see any news. I've got no alerts from AirAsia, who I'm flying with. So, but to start, I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm doing an experimental kind of travel hack. I'm trying out a new way of getting to KLIA Airport here in Kuala Lumpur. And there are many ways you can do it. The most common way for me is to take the airport bus. So you go to KL Central, the main transportation hub in this city, and then you get an airport bus from there. It's on the lower ground. It's pretty easy to find, pretty easy to do. Costs somewhere around 12 or 14 ringgit. I've kind of lost track of the price, but that's about $3 US. And it takes like an hour and 15 minutes to get to the airport. It's quite a ways out of the city. But also at KL Central, you can take the KLIA Ekspres train. It's a dedicated airport express train. That's by far the best way to go. And it costs 55 ringgit. Let me look up the price in US dollars. So that's about $13. So compared to the airport bus, it's $10 more expensive. It takes 28 minutes, goes directly to the airport terminal, and it's much, much more comfortable, of course, because you're in a luxury express train, air-conditioned, and the bus is a little bit rougher around the edges. So $3 versus $13. Of course, you could also take a Grab, and I've never done that, but I think a Grab would be somewhere between 65, 75 ringgit, which is like $15 to $18 US to take a Grab. And of course, the advantage to that is they pick you up right at your hotel, drive you to the airport in about an hour, I would say, and then drop you off exactly where you need to go. So assuming you're here on a holiday and you have the budget, Grab would be the best. If you want more of a local experience, a more fun experience, take the express train. If you're a backpacker on the lowest budget, you're looking at the airport bus. So those are your main options, but there is a travel hack, and thanks to Daryl from Wander Eats YouTube channel, he's the one that investigated this. I think he may have been the very first. And then he made a whole video about it. You can see the thumbnail for that video there. And this travel hack is to take the subway, like I'm right here at the MRT line. This is the Putrajaya line. So you can get into the subway system right here in KL, get to the Putrajaya line, ride the subway to the terminal station, which is at Putrajaya. And in Putrajaya, you can transfer to the airport express train, the KLIA Express, just for the last portion. So instead of taking the KLIA Express train all the way from KL, you skip that part, you take the subway to Putrajaya, and then transfer to the airport express train, and that will get you there, a lot cheaper. I think it works out to 15 ringgit. So it's a little bit more expensive than the airport bus. But taking the airport bus does come with a few rough edges, like the boarding area for the bus at KL Central is it's enclosed. It's an underground road filled with exhaust, and it's kind of hot, and it's a very narrow, crowded area. There's a little bit of a frantic atmosphere down there in terms of buying the ticket, and then there's a whole bunch of buses. Which one is going when do you get on, getting your luggage on the bus. There's a little bit of there's stress involved there. So that would be the negative side to the airport bus. It's easy and it's cheap, but you do have to deal with a bit of heat, a bit of crowding, a little bit of chaos, I think. So this option might be the best of both worlds, or the best of all worlds. Costs 15 ringgit, and you get to go the whole way in an air-conditioned train. So that's what I'm doing now. If you're from Malaysia, this might be of interest to you, or if you're coming here on a holiday, it might be. But everyone else, it doesn't really matter to you, but I just thought I'd document the journey. So starting here, I'm at the Ampang Park MRT station, which is on the Putrajaya line, which is the one that you want. It's the yellow line, and it is one of the newer lines here. So, I'm gonna hop on the Putrajaya train to Putrajaya, and there you transfer over to the KLIA Express train. See how this works out. Just to give you all the details, here is the MRT system in Kuala Lumpur, and I am currently right here. This yellow line, that's the Putrajaya line. So I'm here at Ampang Park Station, and I'm riding the train all the way, leaving the city, going all the way to a separate city completely, which is Putrajaya Central. And then you transfer over to here, and then you go the rest of the way to KLIA Terminal 1 or KLIA Terminal 2. So that's basically what I'm doing. And if you're a visitor to Malaysia, you're probably getting your MRT token at one of these machines. So single journey token. And then you just start typing in your destination. So I type in P for Putrajaya, PU, T, and then there it is. It eventually pops up, Putrajaya Central, and it costs 4.4 ringgit for one person. And then you would select that, put in your money, and then you get your token. But I'm not going to do that. I'm paying with Touch and Go. I just wanted to see how much it cost. So remember that, 4.4 ringgit. In the subway now, and the timing worked out pretty well for me. As soon as I got to the platform, the train arrived. So basically, I started the trip from here at 12:45. So we'll see how long it takes me to get to Putrajaya and then get from there to KLIA 2. Kind of depends on the timing of the transfer, when I show up, and then when the next express train comes through every 20 to 30 minutes, right? So the timing could be good, the timing could be bad. But yeah, I'm in air-conditioned comfort on a nice train. So that's the advantage of taking this route on the way to Putrajaya. So this line, the Putrajaya line, as I said, is one of the newer, bigger train systems here in the MRT. And when it's inside city limits, it's underground. So it's an underground train, but then on the way to Putrajaya, it comes above ground, as you can see. So yeah, you can see the countryside out there, and they have a really nice map system, tells you where you're going. So we're on our way to here, of course, Putrajaya Central, and we started, where did we start? I can't see it. Oh, there it is, Ampang Park, where we're here now, and then we're heading to here, Putrajaya Central.
All passengers are required to disembark at this station.
So, just arrived at Putrajaya Central. One interesting thing about the Malay language, by the way, is that a word like central in English has a C. It has the S sound, of course, in English, central, but here they're very logical and they spell it with an S. So when you're looking for Putrajaya Central, you're looking for the word with the S. But yeah, there's the train and the platform, and we got here at exactly 1:30. So it was 45 minutes to get from Ampang Park, which you see right there, to Putrajaya Central. So that was 45 minutes. And then, as far as I know, it's an easy walk to the KLIA Express train. The Wander Eats video shows exactly where to go, step by step. So I watched that video just to make sure, I know where to go. So basically you just exit from this station and then you look for the signs. I think the sign is TPS, which is Terminal Putrajaya Central or something like that. But I mean, yeah, you just sort of figure it out as you go. So coming down to the main platform, and I think we just go out. There's only one exit, I think. So, yeah. So this is the main exit, and right there's already a sign that says TPS, and that's Terminal Putrajaya Central. And if you bought a token, of course, you put your token in this slot, but I'm going to use my touch and go card. And now you just follow the signs. TPS, Putrajaya Central. And I think you go down here, turn left, and then make your way to the KLIA station. And now it's a little bit of a chance when you happen to arrive here and when the next train, the KLIA Express train, arrives. I have no idea. So yeah, coming off the escalator, there's another sign right there, TPS, Putrajaya Central, telling you to do a U-turn. You see what I'm talking about right there? It's actually giving you a very clear U, so you don't go straight. Those are the buses. You just turn around, head in this direction, and then you have to buy another ticket for this train. And I think they have machines here you can do it, or go to the window. I think I'm just going to do the normal thing. Oh, there's a TPS, another sign. Very nice. TPS, there's another sign right there. Follow these, and it'll get you to here. Look at that. So clear. Pintu 1, exit or entrance 1. Terminal Putrajaya Central. So yeah, that's like 1 minute away, literally. So 1 or 2 minute walk from one station to the next. I hardly need to show this because it's pretty obvious, but just for the sake of being complete, you come to here and it just says right there, KLIA Transit. So that's what you're looking for. And they even have signs down on the floor. So the purple is the color scheme for KLIA Transit, and that's the express train. to the airport. So I just go around the corner and there it is. And you can buy the ticket here. Oh, looks like the window is closed. Oh, cashless. Oh, that's very important. Kindly purchase ticket from the self-service kiosk. So actually you cannot buy a ticket here. Hopefully I can pay for it using touch and go. Otherwise I'm stuck too. So let's see if I can figure this out. So I'm going through the steps and it's 940. So remember that number, 9.4 ringgit. And they do have credit or debit card or digital wallet. So I'm hoping my digital wallet will work for me here. And now they're asking for an email address. So it'll send you an e-ticket to your email address. Success. So my touch and go e-wallet worked here, no problem at all. And I guess if you don't have an e-wallet, you'd have to use your credit card if you're a foreign visitor. So that's a little bit of a, they do have an app as well. You could download the app in advance and buy the ticket before you get here. And they do have the email option, but you don't absolutely need that because they print out a ticket with a barcode and then you scan it at the gate and in you go. So yeah, the modern world, man. If you're up to speed with all the tech, it works. But if you don't have any of this stuff and you encounter this cashless business, which happens more and more and more, yeah, this could be a difficult route to follow. But anyway, on to the next stage. And they have 2 platforms, or 4 platforms. Platforms 1 and 2 goes back to the city, back to KL Central. Platform 3 and 4, this goes to Salak Tinggi, and then the 2 terminals at KLIA, Terminal 1 and Terminal 2. So, escalator here. Oh, that's the up escalator. So, elevator, of course, and then the stairs. But I have no idea when the next train is coming. So we'll just see how long we have to wait. Just to give you a sense of the physical connection, there is the Putrajaya MRT line. That's the station up there. A train just arrived, and then this would be the hallway I went down, and this is the platform for the KLIA Ekspres. And they have the signs here on the platform. You are here, KL Central at one side, and then KLIA 2. For years, to be honest, I've been saying KLIA, because I've been pronouncing it, KLIA Airport, KLIA, and I thought that was what everybody did. But I recently found out that nobody says that. Everybody here just says KLIA. I find it really hard to say, but that's what people do here. Down at the platform now, and I'm very pleased to see they actually have a time up here. At first I didn't see it because it's not very bright. I thought it was broken, but 5 minutes until the next train arrives. They don't have a full schedule down here showing exactly when this train, the next one, but they tell you basically when the next train is coming. And that looks like it's correct, 1:45. So I left at 12:45, so it's been 1 hour to get here. Yeah, which is quite reasonable compared to the bus. The bus is like an hour and 15-minute trip. So yeah, 1 hour to get here, another 15 to get to the airport. About the same time for me anyway as the airport bus would have been. There's a train coming from both directions. So this is mine right here, heading towards the airport. And then there's another one heading back from the airport, back to KL Central. So that would be the true express that went through, because it doesn't stop at these, like the mid stations. They kind of have 2 trains, the express, and this is the transit. But that doesn't matter when you're getting to the airport this way. You just wait for the next train. When it stops, you get on. Look at that, they opened a little step there. And another map here, the whole system, KL Central, and then the stops along the way, and then the airport. Yeah, nice looking train. Kind of more like airline seats, right? Like on a jet. Air conditioned. And I added up the two prices, so it's a total of 13.8 ringgit, which is like $3.25 US. So it's essentially the same price, this travel hack, as opposed to taking the airport bus. But for me, the big advantage is just the comfort level. On this train, the comfort level is much, much higher than taking the bus. So I think this is my preferred way. I've never done this before. This is the first time. But based on this first experience, this is the way I would do it in the future. I haven't taken the bus for a while because a friend of mine, KY, he has often driven me to the airport. But today, yeah, I'm just going on my own. And yeah, decided to try out this train system. So far, pretty pleased. And same time as the bus. For me, I got lucky with my connections, I think. Same price as the bus, but a lot more comfortable. So anyway, the last trick, of course, is make sure you don't get off at the wrong. If you're going to KLIA Terminal 2, make sure you don't get off too early. Arriving at the airport, so we just got here like 2:15. So total trip time for me was one and a half hours. So 90 minutes to go from Ampang Park to KLIA 2. Very annoying, all these people pushing to get on the train, and they crowded the door. They wouldn't let us wouldn't let us off. One weird thing about this train is that it looks like the doors are closed, but so it looks like you missed your train. But if you push this button, then the doors open. Right? So that's kind of a weird thing. Like, yeah, if I were standing here and I didn't know, I would think I missed my train. But yeah, you can push the button and open the door. So that's one thing to know. And I found that the design of the train is very poor. I don't really like that train at all. All of the seats, not all of them, but most of them are facing each other. So there's like two seats facing each other. And when there's an adult already sitting in one of them, you can't really sit in the other one because there's no room for your knees. And then when there's four seats facing each other, it's the same thing. You're actually facing, four seats are turned around, and then one person sits in there. They put their luggage on the other seat beside them, and they end up using all four seats. And the only way you could sit there is if you sort of go up to this other person and go, listen, can you move this and move your knees? And so when I was looking at the length of the train, I'd say 40% of the seats were being used because it's just so uncomfortable, the design of the seats. And even the four seats together, it's up on a level. You actually have to step up. It's on a platform. Yeah, very weird design. But here I am. Time to head into the airport. Oh. The other really weird thing, I didn't even notice it at first. I got on and I noticed that one of the reasons you couldn't really sit with other people was that their luggage was blocking the way. And I looked all the way up and down the train, and everybody had luggage sitting beside them, like at their feet. And they spread their legs sort of around their suitcase, so they end up using up the entire area. or it's, you know, on the ground. And then I suddenly noticed, oh, there's actually luggage compartment. The whole length of the train, there's a big, wide luggage compartment. But not one person in the entire train had put their luggage up there. Because it's all transparent. It's made out of glass. And I didn't even see it. Like, I didn't even know it was a luggage compartment. And then they actually have little signs the whole length of the train dangling from there. Please use the luggage, you know, use me, like encouraging people, because I think they figured out they have all this luggage compartment area and nobody ever uses it. So someone decided, well, let's put up little signs and then tell people, hey, you can use but nobody does. Anyway, so I'm leaving, and here is the airport out here, and I have to get out my ticket to scan on the way out with my QR code. So what's my conclusion about this travel hack? I like it myself. I'm what you would call cash poor, but I'm a little bit time rich, so I don't mind taking longer. Like, taking this travel hack trip would take 3 times longer than KLIA Express. If you take the express train directly, it's 28 minutes. And if you take this route, it's 90 minutes. So it takes, it's 3 times longer. But if you take a bus, the airport bus, that is, also it's an hour and 15 minutes. Could be an hour and a half. So it's a little, even taking this train with the transfer points and everything, it's a little bit longer than taking the, taking this train is a little bit longer than taking the bus. So I'm on the Travelator, heading up to level 3. That would be departures up at level 3. I've taken the express train once before, but it was years ago, and so this is all kind of new to me. Thank you. Up on the next Travelator. Yeah, I always forget the names of these things. I stumble, but this time for some reason I caught the name out of the corner of my eye. It says, yes, this is not an escalator, it's a Travelator. So I'm here 2 hours before my flight. So assuming the Volcano hasn't canceled any flights, I should be okay. Yeah, summing up this whole experience, there's also the cashless angle to consider. I can see a lot of people getting caught out by that. Cashless, where they plan to take the KLIA Express hack and then find out that they can't even buy a ticket because I guess it saves them money. They don't have to pay for a cashier to sit behind the window all day. And that's good for local people. But I find that this pattern of the world going cashless means that visitors from other countries, they tend to be inconvenienced because we may or may not be set up with all the local e-wallets and things like that. So run into that all the time. I'll talk about that a bit more in a few minutes, maybe once I get through checking in and dropping off my luggage and immigration and customs, and I'll come back and continue with my stories. Everybody's seen airports before, so you don't need a whole lot of video of this. Just gonna check my flight.
白银的100，重新拿银的100です。这是白银的100です。
Boarding starts at 340 gate number P. So, no issues. I already checked in online, of course. I did that as soon as I reserved the ticket. And then here, all I had to do was take my luggage QR code, hold it up to the scanner, and it automatically printed out a boarding pass on paper, and then it printed out the luggage tag. So I put it on my luggage, and now I have to go over there to you and, yeah, drop off my bag and then go through immigration, customs. And this is always a tense moment for me because I'm always flying on AirAsia, and there's 2 departure areas, 2 departure gates. And one of them is sort of open and airy and comfortable, and the other one, these are for low-budget airlines over here, and the other one is crammed and there's nothing there, and it's really uncomfortable. I'm always hoping I get the right one, but I can never remember which is the good one, which is the bad one. I'll find out in a few minutes, I guess. Yeah, it's pretty busy, pretty crowded today. Yeah, I was just noticing that these are all brand new machines. I haven't seen this system before, and everybody seems to be having trouble. Either the machines aren't working or they're having trouble figuring it out. The new system. Yeah, it's taking a long time for everybody to do it. But this is my luggage tag. Should it be this one instead?
No, this one. Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have like
I have a paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a new system, right? New machines.
Yeah, new machines. Yeah. So it's this one. Yeah. A bit to the front. Yep. You see the white dot there?
Oh, the white? No, I don't.
Yeah.
Mister, please place one bag at a time on the conveyor.
So this week.
Mm-hmm. 10.8 kilograms. We are currently not able to process your request. We could not detect the bag tag.
Okay.
Turn it?
Yeah, turn it.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people having trouble with this.
I think. Okay. Maybe this side.
Like turn it again?
Yeah.
So start all over again? So the new machine is having trouble reading the luggage tag. There's no way to override it?
Not on my side.
Okay.
So, maybe just
Spin it one more time?
Yeah. No, maybe.
All the way this way?
Yeah.
To start all over again. One more time.
Everything goes well.
Like this time? Maybe the color of the bag is confusing it.
Maybe, I don't know.
It's all the lines, so it can't find.
Yeah, try. So maybe
Tried like 10 times, and he was even helping me, the man, and it won't scan the tag. I tried and tried and tried, and
In that case, you go to counter F.
F?
Yeah, S.
S.
S for sayang, Sarah.
Okay.
Go on the other side, drop your bag over there.
Okay. Yeah, these look like the old machines. So maybe if I tried one of those, maybe it would actually work. Or maybe not, I can't tell. Yeah, they look different. So I'm trying this system instead. Scan your boarding pass, and here it has a hand scanner. Place my bag on the belt. Okay, it's weighing it. Security confirms. Scan your bag tag. And done. So that worked. So there you go. The new system failed. It's like automated with a big camera system. And I guess it couldn't find my luggage tag. And this system where you use a hand scanner, you can direct it directly at the QR code or whatever, the barcode, and that worked better. So, time to get rid of the luggage cart and go through immigration. There you go. Thank you. Step by step, slowly getting there. Turns out I am in a good departure area, P9, I think. But anyway, the area, the P departure area is the good one, and I'm heading there now. It's off in this direction, P and Q, I think. Oh, the Air Asia jets. I think that is L over there, and the L is the bad one. So I got the good one today, I think. It's just better because it's roomier, everything is wider and bigger, and all the restaurants are down here. So if you wanted to grab a quick snack, it's like right beside your departure gate. If you're at L, you've got to go all the way down there, get your food, and then you got to come all the way back to go to L. Good. But yeah, immigration, I didn't film, of course, no problems at all. Just got stamped out. I should look at my passport in a minute, make sure what kind of a stamp I got. I haven't checked yet. Next stage, I stopped for a brief moment, had a little snack and a drink. And yeah, I didn't really need to because I am getting my usual, I think it's Uncle Ben's. I always want to call it Uncle Ben's chicken rice. It's like the meal they serve you. It's part of my travel value pack. I get a meal and I just get this simple chicken and rice dish. But I won't really need it on the flight, so I think I'm just gonna pop it into my knapsack, and that will be my dinner tonight when I get to my hotel in Medan. So anyway, final stretch, heading to my boarding gate. They always kind of freak me out at this point because, I mean, I'm here in plenty of time. For me, my flight is at 4:20, and right now it's 10 to 4, so it's 30 minutes to take off. But on all the signs everywhere, it's blaring at me, final call, final call, final call for this flight, right? They've got me moving fast, which of course is the whole reason they're doing that final call business, is just to hurry people up. But yeah, I'm at P9, which I believe is right here. Yeah, and they're boarding. So I wouldn't call that final call. Looks like the last few people are boarding. I'm just gonna pop into a bathroom and then get on board. So everybody else is already boarded. It's only us last-minute people. This is always my favorite part about boarding, where you actually, like, you're going through the door, and this is actually, of course, the outside of the plane. And often you don't really think about that, but I just have the habit of every time I go through the door, I reach out with my hand. I just like to touch the outside of it, because I know that's going to be touching the air up above. And there you have it, an Air Asia. The red seats up here, these are the, I don't know, Economy Plus or whatever they call them. They really don't look that different. I guess you get a little bit more leg room. But my seat is back there somewhere. And here we are. Yeah, to my surprise, yeah, there's nobody even sitting here yet. Landed. So we left 30 minutes late, and we landed basically 30 minutes late. But it won't matter as far as my train is concerned. I already booked it in advance, but I booked a slightly later train just so I knew I could get there on time. It's kind of a funny flight because you go up, and by the time you reach cruising altitude, you're pretty much on the way down again. I mean, you don't stay up there very long. And as part of my value pack, I got a meal. So they brought me this meal and they handed it over to me. You got to lower your tray table. You put the food down. And I just got it open and I started eating. And then they came up and down the aisle and, oh, you got to put your tray table back. It's like you have to inhale your meal because, yeah, it's like a less than an hour flight. And if you get your meal 40 minutes into the flight, then yeah, so I was going to just put it in my bag and save it till I got to the hotel, but it's such crammed seating. I mean, it's like being tied up. I can't move in any direction, and it just seemed like it was way too much trouble to put the meal into my knapsack, so I just ate it. But yeah, here we are, Kualanamu. It's a nice airport. It's a small one, international, but small, but it's just very friendly. It's not a major airport, but it just works. Very spacious, very welcoming. So now I've got to go through Immigration. And as far as I know, I have all of my documents ready. The adventure continues. I already got my e-visa in advance, so I didn't have to go to an immigration counter. In fact, there were no immigration counters. It was like an auto e-gate. And I've never done that before. And it took me about 4 tries, because you go up to this machine and it tells you what to do, like lay your passport flat on the scanner. And I did. And then it just kept saying over and over again, okay, remove your passport. Now lay your passport flat on the scanner. Remove it. Like I didn't seem to be doing it properly. I couldn't figure out what was the right orientation. But eventually, I guess I got it right, or the machine got it right. And then it just said, all right, you're done. So no stamp in my passport, which makes me very nervous, because I'm old school that way. I feel like you need something physical. And I was wondering, if I use auto scanner in Medan, what happens when I try to leave by ferry out of Dumai or somewhere else? You know, they can't see in my passport anything. But of course, I'll be on their computer system too. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. There was a group of about 20 foreigners ahead of me, like a big tour group of some kind, and they all went trudging over to the e-visa purchase window. Now you can buy it on arrival too. And they also have an online customs declaration as well that you have to do. I did it in advance. I did it yesterday. But if you don't do it, they have computers here where you can do it, or you can scan a QR code, and that will bring you to the customs website on your phone. Anyway, now I just grab my bag, and you have to show your customs QR code when you walk out. They scan your code, and that's how you go through customs now. There's also an online health declaration for Indonesia. I never did it in the past. Oh, there's my bag. It arrived. So one reason I was thinking maybe my bag, like the new scanner, couldn't read this. I thought maybe it was because of the pattern of my bag. All these lines confused it, and it didn't know how to isolate the barcode from these lines. So I think maybe that's why the camera, the auto scanner, couldn't get my bag. But I was just saying that when I went to Jakarta, this was right after my friend Daryl went to Jakarta, or he flew into Indonesia, and he was telling me he had to do a health declaration online, and I'd never heard about that before. So, but since he mentioned it, I thought, well, I'll do it too, and I looked for it and I registered. It was because of an outbreak of something called Mpox, an African outbreak, and it spread to Indonesia, I guess, spread to a bunch of countries, and I've never had to do it for Tanjung Balai or Medan, I don't think, but I have done it in the past. Like, what I mean is they never checked, but I did also do the health declaration online, and I have the QR code for the health declaration also on my phone. So I just got a ton of documents in a special folder on my phone, an e-visa, customs QR code, health QR code, flight back to Malaysia, proof of leaving the country, hotel reservation. I mean, it's so complex these days, the digital world that we live in. But anyway, time to go through customs. That's it. I am officially in Indonesia. This is the arrival hall right outside the door. They just scanned my customs QR code. They said it's a very friendly airport. Doesn't like you. I keep expecting there to be low ceilings, but it's got a nice high ceiling here. Feels very spacious. And then when you come out of here, you just go straight out the other side and you go to the transportation hub, which is the second building. And as you come out of customs, there's another window for IMEI registration. And don't get me talking about IMEI registration because I still don't understand it. Whole bunch of ATMs, all the big local banks right here. And there's money changers. Yeah, I like this airport. It's very casual. But yeah, here's the public transportation building. So the Yeah, that's the airport terminal building right back there. And then you come out, and then there's a separate building, and this is where you get all of your buses. I think you can go directly from here to Lake Toba if you want to, get buses into Medan, or you can take the airport train. Here they call it the Railink. But one trick to the Railink is it is also cashless. So yeah, they're cashless here, and this is where you would buy your ticket once you arrive. And the first time I did this, I was stuck because I had no way of buying a ticket. I had no local e-wallet or anything like that. Anyway, I have some time on my hands. Yeah, it's 5:35 now, so I've got less than an hour. There's a little convenience store over there. I could go get a drink if I want. Yeah. Everything is clicking on all cylinders, firing on all cylinders, I should say. Boarding time for the train. They had a big announcement there saying that all passengers on the 6:25 train, time to get on board. Yeah, nice, relaxed process, lots of room. You scan your QR code there, and my ticket has a seat number, 1B, I think, and executive car 1. Where are the numbers? I remember doing this once before. And I saw the seat numbers eventually. Right now, they're not jumping out at me. Where are they? Ah, there they are. Yeah, kind of hidden. 1A and 1B. And as far as I know, I mean, I don't think it matters, to be honest. But if your ticket has a seat number, you might as well sit there, right? So, but it looks like the train is not going to be that full. I feel like the master of... Well, in a way, I am kind of the master of this, either taking the ferry to Tanjung Balai or flying to Medan and going to Tanjung Balai. I've done it a couple of times, so I sort of worked out all the system. But as I said, it keeps changing. Everything is going digital, cashless, so even though you've done it before, it always changes. Be something new, a new technique, new something. So we left right on time. Since it's one of the later trains, 6:25, it's getting a bit dark out there. Sun is going down. It's about 23 kilometers to downtown Medan, to the train station there. So it's not that far. And there's the map of the route. So there's the Kualanamu Airport here, a couple of intermediate stops, and then it ends at Medan. And then you can, I don't know exactly how the trains work, but I know they also go on to Binjai and to here as well. That's it. Yeah, not many people on the train, lots of empty seats. And yeah, this train to me is a little bit nicer than the one in Malaysia, actually. Most of the seats are like facing in one direction. A couple of them there are like 4 grouped together, but most of them are, yeah, a little bit more efficient. And nobody claimed 1A. So I will claim 1A and nestle into the corner. Yeah, I've taken this train in the daylight hours, and it can be quite interesting when you start getting close. Like here is all farming country. These are all farming villages out here. But once you get into Medan proper, you get to see into a lot of the neighborhoods that have grown up around the railroad station, around the railroad tracks. Yeah, it's quite interesting. And when I get to the train station, I'll probably just walk. I booked my usual hotel, and it's maybe 1.5, 2 kilometers from the train station. And yeah, I'll probably just walk there. Step by step, it's about 10 after 7 here in Sumatra. I think that makes it 10 after 8 in Malaysia, where I started. And I'm at the train station in Medan. Right across from the train station, you've got the Center Point Mall. And that, of course, would be a very convenient place to stay. I think that there's hotels right beside Center Point or inside Center Point. So that'd be a pretty convenient place to stay. Recently, when I've been here, the neighborhood around the train station has been under construction. There's a big park at the front, and they were like reconstructing the entire park. It was all torn up, and it was very difficult to find your way around. You had to go on long detours around the construction area. But I saw a video recently from somebody else in Medan, and it looked like the construction was finished. So that will be interesting to see. If the construction is done, then it'd probably be a lot easier getting out of the train station. But who knows? I do find this train station confusing in terms of just getting from here to the exit. I always end up going in weird directions. We'll see if I can figure it out this time. Just a quick update. It is exactly the same exit that I've always ended up using, but now they have a whole bunch of signs pointing to this exit, but it still doesn't really feel like an exit of any kind. It just sort of dumps you out here, and then there's a like a ramp here for cars, I guess. And yeah, like I said, it's just the first time I came out here, I was like, well, this can't be the right exit, but it was the only way I could get out of the train station. And then every time, yeah, it's the only way to do it. So anyway, we'll see if the construction is still going on. Yeah, everything looks completely different. This road wasn't here before, so they built a brand new elevated road, and I assume, yeah, there's an opening down there where you can get all kinds of baycheck, and maybe then you can walk across the park underneath the road to the park. Because you got a wall here, I thought I could see the park, but they built kind of a wall. But anyway, that's where all the construction was, and it looks like they're more or less done. And this is, yeah, like I said, this is the train station over here. But yeah, it's pretty tight space all around here. But in the past, I had to go all the way out in that direction and then walk all the way out to those high apartment buildings over there, and then go all the way around this construction zone and then back down just to get here, right back to the beginning, and then walk to my hotel over there. But now it's a much shorter walk. I just had to come from there to here. So it's dark. That's all right. I know where I'm going. I just have to head in this direction, and I'll end up back at my hotel. So I'm almost at my hotel. It's at the end of this street here. These are actually the railroad tracks up there. I think, yeah, railroad tracks up there and down below. But it sounds like there's a train coming from some direction. Probably from the train station. Oh no, it's coming from this direction. That was interesting. I was expecting a passenger train. I haven't seen freight trains that often here, but that, yeah, a bunch of oil and gas cars. Pertamina, I think it's the National Oil and Gas Corporation. But yeah, a little bit of excitement here in Medan. And all along here, I've shown this before on video, they have all these paintings on the pillars holding up the railroad tracks, sort of street art. There's most of it. Yeah, it's quite cool. So that way I go. Almost there. The landmark for the street where the Sederhana Hotel is located is this giant water tower there. That's kind of a landmark here in Medan. I forget all the details now, the history, but it's quite an old water tower. It's been there a long time. And then this street where the Sederhana Hotel is located is quite a well-known food street in Medan. These places right in front of me look quite humble, and then if you go around the corner, there's a little bit of a S-turn. There's a whole bunch more restaurants there. They all look very local, very typical, very traditional, but they all have a reputation for producing very good food. So people come here from all over Medan just to grab some food here, eat here, or take it home again. Yeah, it's quite a well-known food street. And this place is getting fancier every time I go by. They didn't have the seating out here before. All the little chairs outside. That's brand new. I can smell the coffee. Coffee sounds good. Yeah, a lot of Grab drivers hang out here because they do food deliveries. And it's not exactly brightly lit or inviting from the outside, but there it is. The Wisma Sederhana. It's where I stayed the last 2 times, I guess. I was in Medan. Was this hotel here, Sederhana. I think my room here is like 36 ringgit per night, or 33, something like that. All right, let's go check in. And perhaps ending the travel day video. Home sweet home. They gave me room 210 here. I've never been in room 210 before, so that'll be a new experience. It actually looks a little bit better, like in better condition than in rooms I've had here previously. But yeah, a little table here, TV, the large double bed. Yeah, the air conditioner looks new, actually. I can feel it, the cold air, so that's nice. And they don't usually have hot water heaters here because, yeah, you don't really need it. It's so hot here. Cold water is just fine. And then they have a little sink out here. Yeah, nice. In the other rooms I've had, the sink really didn't work. So it was just sort of there and didn't use it. But yeah, it's an old hotel. You know, it's got old bones. My kind of place. Feels like it has history. It's got character, you know. And of course, it's not a expensive hotel. It's a low budget sort of place, which is what I like. All right. So I think that is it. Man, what a day that was. Interesting day. I made it more difficult than it needed to be, of course, because I folded in testing out a new way of getting to KLIA. So that took a bit of energy, a bit of time, a bit of planning, and so it made the whole journey door to door a little bit more tiring than it would normally be. But no, I enjoyed that quite a bit. Things worked out. I think one of the most interesting things about the day was at the airport, where I tried to use the new machine where you drop off your own bag, and they have a new system, a new camera system, and it failed with my bag, and it seemed to not work for a lot of people. So I was thinking that maybe it's just the way my bag looks, that it confused the camera. But now that I think back, there's lots of other people, I saw them trying. They would put their suitcase on the conveyor belt and it would move back and forth automatically. And then the person would take their suitcase off the belt, rescan their boarding pass, put it back on again and again and again. And I guess they're just dialing it in. They haven't got it figured out yet. And then I had to go to the older self-check-in. It's kind of crazy in my mind, self-check-in and dropping off your own bag is a new thing. It's so brand new to me, but the technology is already so old that it's being replaced with newer systems already. The original systems that struck me as amazing are already obsolete, and they're replacing them. And then even here in Medan at Kualanamu, they have the self check-in for immigration, which makes so much sense. And maybe that will work out well for me because I've talked about how my passport is filling up. All the pages are full of stamps. Mainly because I was in Thailand during the pandemic and I had to get a new visa every 60 days and they put in these huge stickers that filled up the whole pages. So, yeah, so when there's no more empty pages, you have to get a new passport. And in Canada, that's hundreds of dollars and it's a big job. But if I never have to get another passport stamp, then I can keep this passport until the year 2030 when it expires. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, a lot of adventures today, mainly to do with technology. So that's it. Shutting down. From this particular day, I don't know if there's going to be bonus material popping up on the Planet Doug Patreon, but you never know. Yeah, there's always something interesting there going on. So check out the Patreon. Check out the Planet Doug behind the scenes channel in case I do a behind the scenes story, you know, talking about today and other days, things like that. If not, I'll see you back here on the main Planet Doug channel the next travel day. I'm heading from here to Tanjung Balai, maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after. I feel like I might want to spend an extra day here. I need a day to recover. I think I do. I don't feel like taking a 5-hour train ride tomorrow. I need a day to recover from today. So we'll see what happens. All right, that's it. Shutting down, and I'll see you next time.